Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you to my platform, Metalytics Insight Limited. My name is Dr. Mrs. Ajila. This afternoon, I want us to quickly look at literature review. Let us quickly look at literature review. Literature review is one of the important aspects of the 5 chapters in any research work. So it comes under your chapter 2. Your chapter 2 is literature review. And what is literature review is talking about? Literature review is talking about reviewing of existing articles, existing literature as related to the topic you want to conduct research on. One thing you should know is that you are not the first to write on that topic you have chosen. Millions of people have written, a topic. They have written on that topic. And that is the reason why you are trying to search again area or vacuum that you can come in order to contribute to studies. So that is why the first place or the first assignment you have when you start writing your research work or start conducting your research work is literature review. That's the first place you're supposed to start your work from. Then you move to then under the literature review, we have 3 aspects of literature review. We have conceptual review, we have theoretical review, and we have empirical review. Most especially where you are starting your work from is your empirical review. Empirical review is the review of the evidence-based findings of the existing studies. Evidence-based findings of the existing studies. We call it empirical because these articles or these authors collected data, subjected the data to analysis, and they were able to come up with empirical evidence. And they use this empirical evidence, this result, to make conclusion. And based on it, they make recommendations. That's why we call it empirical evidence. So you have to review empirical studies of other existing authors. Look at, as related to your topic, look at what they have done, how they have done it, what method have they used, what measurement have they used, and what are the findings they come up with. So when you review this existing studies empirical work, you are going to synthesize it. Synthesis means you have to look at what they have done so far. You can try to structure your empirical review based on objective or based on developing and the country where you are. So from this, you'll be able to look at what have they done in developed countries, what have they done in developing countries, and what have they done in your own countries that have not been done. What have they done in your own country? Then you now compare what they've done in your own country with what they have done in developed country, which they have not done in your own country. And that's what we call vacuum or missing piece. In developed country, they might have done a lot of studies on different areas, different aspects regarding that topic. But in your own country, after you have reviewed maybe about 200 articles, you now discover that there are still some areas they have not touched compared to developed or emerging economy. So you're not coming in to fill that gap, and that's the reason for starting from empirical review. That's the first place you are starting your research work from. So after you have reviewed existing studies, you synthesize it to look at what they have done so far. Then you look at the gap, the vacuum, the missing piece that will enable you to contribute to studies. Then you have to now break it down into what you can transform into research questions. Then from there, you will be able to write your research questions. You write your specific research objectives and hypotheses. Then the conceptual review aspect of it, this has to do with the concepts, how existing study conceptualize on the key variables in your topic. Don't forget I said you are not the first to write on that topic you have chosen. We have millions of authors that have written on that topic from different angles. So now you need to conceptualize. After you have read what other existing studies have written on those concepts, let's assume you are having a new idea or you want to extend and expand that concept, you can do that. So majorly the conceptual review is talking about the definition, importance, factors, measurements of that key variables. You know, in a topic, you have dependent and independent. You can also have other, maybe mediating or moderating variable in it. So you have to conceptualize these key variables in your topic. You have to conceptualize it. Then you are not summarizing what other existing studies have done. You are conceptualizing, defining it. For example, maybe you download about 10 papers and you see that all of them are defining that particular concept in the same way. Then put their names on that, cite their names as the authors that defined or conceptualized that key concept in that manner. Put all their names there. And if you feel that they have not actually conceptualized that key variable very well, especially maybe those papers you were able to review, maybe most of them, maybe they are not major in your discipline. Maybe, for example, you might be a management person, and somebody in finance, or somebody from engineering, or somebody from physics are defining it. You that is in management, we have better understanding. You'll be able to expand that definition very well compared to those people. So in a situation whereby you see something like that, it is your responsibility or your duties to do what? To expand it and define it the way it should be. So that is just about concept. So the conceptual review now is not talking about only definition. It also encompasses, things like importance of that concept, factor determining that concept. You can also look at the measurement of that concept and implication of that concept, depending on where you are looking at it, whether on a aggregate economy or household or micro. So the next one is theoretical review. So you have to review theories that are related to your key variables. Theories are comprehensive, well-structured facts. It is not based on guess. It is scientifically supported, and it tells why and how. So you look at this theory as related to your study, to your key variables, because you will use theory to explain your two variables. Meaning that the independent variable, it can influence or can predict your dependent variable. We have theories that can explain that has been widely and globally tested. So you look at this theory, you review it. Who propounded the theory? When was it propounded? What does the theory say? What are the variables in these theories? Then what are the assumptions of that theories? After that, you relate the theory. How does it relate to your studies? How can that theory be used to explain your key variables in your topic? So that is theory. Then when you look at how it can be applied to your studies, you also come up with what? With limitations of that theory.